Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We're going to take a look at the Hammerfall Bunker, which is a Primaris fortification. It came out during the Indomitus Crusade. It's got a decent amount of strength 5 shots, but it does have the option to upgrade to a crack missile at strength 10, which is quite nice. It's got a really good toughness profile, so it's hard to shift. It does have the vehicle keyword, so there are ways to buff it, and it gives benefits of cover to your units, which is a nice ability. It's got another ability where if it's in combat with an enemy unit, you can target these units within combat as well. It can't move, so you've got to place it well at the start of the game, and it does have quite a large base size, and it is a tad expensive for what it can do. It comes in at 175 points, so it's not that cheap, and it can't move. It does have a good toughness profile though, at toughness 12, a 2-up save, 14 wounds, leadership 6, but it does have 0 objective control. It's got deadly demise D6, so when it explodes it does D6 mortal wounds, and it comes with the vehicle keyword, and it brackets when it's down to between 1 and 5 wounds. Onto its ranged attacks, it has ballistic skill 4 for all of its attacks, so you have the option of taking the heavy bolter or heavy flamer array. So the heavy bolter array comes with sustained hits 1 and twin linked, allowing you to reroll those wound rolls. 36-inch range, 6 shots, strength 5, -1 AP and 2 damage. And then the heavy flamer, it ignores cover, it's torrent, so auto hits, and it's twin linked for that reroll to wound. It's got a 12-inch range, which is a bit on the short side, and it's 2d6 attacks at strength 5, -1 AP, 1 damage. It also comes with the Hammerfall missile launcher. Now, there's 2 profiles you can choose within game for this: the Super Frag, which comes with blast, and Super Crack, which has no keywords. So the Super Frag has a 48-inch range. It's 2d6 plus 2 attacks plus the blast, strength 5, 0 AP, 1 damage. And then Super Crack, 48 inches again, it's 2 shots, strength 10, -2 d6 plus 1 damage. So a fair amount of damage you can output with that crack missile. It comes with a couple of abilities, the first one being fortification, and this is engaged when the bunker is within engagement range of an enemy unit, and only that enemy unit is only with engagement range of the bunker. So any of your units can shoot into combat and target this enemy unit for -1 ballistic skill, unless they're using a pistol. This enemy unit can also fall back without a battle shot penalty, so it does not need to do a desperate escape test. But if it is moving over enemy models, it will still need to do the desperate escape test. It's got ceramite cover, so if an enemy unit cannot fully see the model, if it's not fully visible, or every model on that unit can't see the enemy, your model, then this gains benefits of cover, giving it that reduction in incoming AP. And then there's defensive array. What this allows you to do, you can overwatch for 0 CP, and you can use this in a turn that is already being used. So if you are going to overwatch with this, where possible, try and use it second, because if you use it first for 0 CP, then you can't use it again. So the benefit of this is that you use it once for a different unit, and then you come back to the Hammerfall Bunker and you get to do it again, but this time for 0 CP. It really depends what you want to do with the Hammerfall Bunker, with the option of either the bolter or the heavy flamer. The bolter is generally the better option because it gives you the longer range and has the sustained hits, which has a couple of buffs that can play into this later on. But the heavy flamer is quite good if you want to lock down an objective or part of your deployment zone. It can't hold the objective, but it can hide something holding the objective, and if anything moves within 12 inches, then you've got that free overwatch for 2d6 auto hits, plus then you've got the super frag, which you'll be using as well, so you can actually push through a fair bit of damage if anything decides to charge you. So what buffs and combos can you give to the Hammerfall Bunker? Well, since it is a vehicle, it does gain that keyword, so it can access some stratagems, abilities and buffs. So for example, the Tech Marine, if you wanted to, you could give the +1 to the hit roll for the Hammerfall Bunker, as well as heal it. It's got that great defensive profile, so you can keep this guy around for quite a while. Then you've got the Vanguard Spearhead detachment. Anything outside of 12 inches would be -1 to hit, and you gain benefits of cover. So if you're taking the bolter variant, this could be quite nice. It's going to be very hard to shift, with that toughness 12 and the multiple wounds and the 2+ save. So you're going to be able to keep firing those bolters for the majority of the game. Then you've got the Ironstorm Spearhead. This gives you a reroll to the hit, wound or damage roll per phase. This could be quite nice because you do have the ballistic skill 4. So if you are firing the super cracker, you do really want to make sure this hits, so that just allows you a little bit more consistency. And if you do hit first time round, well, then you've got the wound roll and that d6 damage roll, where you really want a little bit more consistency. There's a piece of war gear that you can give to the Tech Marine called the Target Augury Web. This gives them a 6-inch aura for lethal hits, so this is quite nice, as you're going to be using the Tech Marine more to buff your dreadnoughts or your vehicles, but especially at the start of the game, there's going to be a chance that he's going to be within range of this to give him this aura. You've then got the stratagem that you can double up with this, which gives you, which is Mercy is weakness, and gives you sustained hits 1 and critical hits on a 5+ against a vehicle unit. You already had sustained hits on the heavy bolter if you've taken that, but this gives it on the missile launcher as well, which is quite nice, especially when you've got those 2d6 plus, what is it, 2d6 plus 1 plus blast, so you're going to get a lot of additional hits with this. Crits of a 5+. Then you've got the Anvil Siege Force. You gain the heavy keyword and you will always remain stationary, so you get that +1 to hit, so you're going to be ballistic skill 3, which is going to make this guy much more bearable for the points cost. There's a stratagem called Battle Drill Recall, which gives you sustained hits 1, and if you remain stationary, which you have no choice, you are, then you get a crit on a 5. So again, like the Mercy's weakness, but this is against all unit types rather than just vehicles. You're getting that sustained hits and a crit on a 5. Last up, we have Firestorm Assault Force. This gives you the ability to have +1 strength to your weapons when you're targeting a unit within 12 inches. And it has a stratagem called Crucible of Battle, which if you're targeting the closest unit within 6 inches, it's +1 to wound. So this is quite nice for the bolter, but it's probably going to be a little bit better when you, especially when you're firing Overwatch and you've got the Flamer array. Having that strength 6 Flamer with the +1 to wound is going to be very nice. So he is a bit pricey, coming in at 175 points. Hopefully in the next balanced date slate he'll drop a bit. Really should be around 150 points, but I can imagine maybe it'd be a 10-point drop, maybe just a 5-point. They really light touch the fortifications, where they're either generally terrible or just a little bit too good. There's no in between with them. So if it come down by a good 10-15 points, I can see this having some play in certain detachments, especially in casual games. It's going to get a little bit more play out of that. In the competitive scene, it's just a little bit too expensive, and the poor ballistic skill, and losing the initial ability that it had in the index to basically Overwatch for free every time anything moves in front of it. If it still had that, the points value isn't too bad, but it is a large model as well, and it has no OC. If it had OC of 1, then you could just dump it on your deployment. The objective in your deployment to hold that, but it's just got a couple of limitations that are really holding it back at the moment. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any comments, then pop them below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button, as it greatly helps the channel. Hit the subscribe button to see any future Warhammer content. Take it easy, and see you next time for more grim darkness from the 41st millennium.